Here are 5 podcasts I watched recently that helped me stop doom scrolling and really challenge my thinking. Hi, my name is Nikki, not Nike. Let's do it. The first one I just finished this morning, it's Mel Robbins interviewing Emma Grede. Emma Grede actually has her own podcast, and I'll mention that next. But this is incredible because Mel Robbins, first of all, is a great interviewer. She really knows how to speak to people to have them open up. But I did not know that Emma Grede went through so much. Like, her whole story is that of tenacity and resilience. And if you want to feel inspired to chase your dream to start that business, it's a great podcast to watch. She is the co-owner and also the co-founder of Skims and also Good American. And she's worth like $500 million. But to know that she started out in South London with nothing to her name to where she is today is an incredible thing to watch. Favorite is Dr. Tara Swartz on Diary of CEOs podcast. Diary of CEOs podcast is the #1 podcast in the world. He brings on all the greatest thought leaders of our time, but Dr. Tara Swartz is actually, I think, the greatest neuroscientist of our time. But this particular podcast will bring you to tears because it's about what I've always believed, that science cannot explain certain things, and certain things are just so beyond our imagination that we don't even want to understand it. Her husband passed away, and prior to that, she didn't believe that you could communicate with people who are on the other side. And as a scientist, she didn't want to believe it. But she knew, even though she's a psychiatrist herself, that she wasn't going through psychosis, and that she was fully conversing with her husband, and she was able to prove that scientifically. And it is a great podcast if you believe in spirituality, manifestation, quantum physics, quantum mechanics. It's a great podcast. The next podcast is by Louis Hose. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. Interviewing Dr. Doty. Unfortunately, I found about Dr. Doty after he passed away on Mel Robbins' podcast, and I wish I had learned about him a bit earlier because he was absolutely brilliant. He passed away recently, I think a month or 2 months ago. And he's a neuroscientist, and he explains in this podcast how to manifest properly, your morning routine to manifest. If you follow it every single day, within 30 days, whatever your heart desire will come to you. I went down a rabbit hole and watched all his podcasts. After that, it was just so sad that he died so young. And the next one is Emma Grede, who I mentioned earlier, on her podcast interviewing Lucy Goh. I don't know how you say that last name, but she is the youngest self-made billionaire of all time, and she launched, for influencers, actually very exciting for influencers, she launched Passes, and it's a creative hub for influencers and creators and content creators and brands and marketing. And she just explained her career and how she went from an intern all the way to being the self-made billionaire in San Francisco ever. And so it's a great podcast. If you're an influencer, especially, she did explain in it that volume will always negate failure. If you want to be an influencer or content creator, just post like 15 times a day and they will come find you for brand deals. Last but not least is this gentleman here, Neuro Knowledge. I'm obsessed with his YouTube. He teaches everything about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, manifestation, and the power of God in your life. That video, this particular one, was one of the reasons I went on my retreat and took 21 days to be by myself and did the 10-day vow of silence, because I truly believe part of the reasons why our manifestations and our prayers do not come true is because we're everywhere, right? And if you just take the time to be silent, you can hear God clearly. And he explained this scientifically in this video, why you should go quiet every now and again in your life so you can get these things people call download. I call it you can hear God clearly. But all his videos are great. He has another one called You Have to Be a Bad Person to Manifest, and it's a little triggering, but it's really, really good. So follow him on YouTube and also on TikTok. That's it. I hope these are great for your dopamine detox and your doom scrolling detox. They really help just playing it in the background as you're doing things around the house. I believe in you, and I pray you always believe in yourself. Stay